The story begins with a very intelligent boy named Tom, who during his school days found a solution to a huge problem like the Mexican oil spill, and shocked the biggest oil companies around the world. Before his college ended, the 8 largest oil companies in the world offered him a job and a salary of hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. But Tom rejected all those amazing offers and accepted an offer from a man in Spain named Walter Moreland. In this job, using his sharp mind, he had to open a vault considered the most secure in the world. Inside the vault was something Walter wanted, but for the past 90 years, no one had been able to break into it. Then Walter introduced Tom to his team. Walter said that a few months ago he had discovered a ship that had sunk in the sea many years ago. From it, he found a box that contained a clue to an immense treasure. But soon the Spanish government found out and seized everything Walter had found and locked it in a Spanish bank vault. Then Tom met Walter's daughter Lorraine, who was an expert in changing her appearance for missions. Their team also included Klaus, a brilliant hacker, and James, Walter's trusted man who was once a soldier. Simon provided whatever the team needed, and as long as he was paid, he could get Walter anything in the world. It was Tom's first day, and the team was having trouble hacking into the bank system. They needed to enter a code but had no idea what it could be. Tom suggested they should pretend to be the bank's automated voicemail and call a client to get the code. The trick worked, and they easily got the code. Everyone praised Tom, and he reached his new home. From the next day, Tom started studying the map of the Bank of Spain with the team. According to Walter, this building is the most secure in the world because it has thousands of sensors and cameras, and the guards leave no gaps in security. Their biggest challenge was the Spanish Army headquarters was located directly in front of the bank. Whenever the bank's security alarms would go on, 300 soldiers from the headquarters would rush into the bank. The bank's security chief was a former commander of Spain's counter-terrorism force. Now Walter's team was up against a force that knew how to protect the bank under any condition. On top of that, Walter's team had no information about the blueprint inside the vault, so they had to scan it to get the details. To enter the vault, they needed 2 keys and the security chief's fingerprints. To get them, the team decided to enter the bank. Tom and Simon posed as janitors. Lorraine came in as an art inspector to examine and ensure some priceless paintings. And behind those paintings were the safes that held the 2 keys of the box. When the security chief was escorting Lorraine to the room, she handed him her coffee cup and got his fingerprints that way. After reaching the first painting's room, Klaus hacked the bank's cameras. He recorded Lorraine while she scanned the painting, and then slowed down the footage and set it on repeat. During that time, Lorraine opened the safe and copied the design of the key. But just then, the bank's director suddenly showed up and there were only 10 seconds left before the cameras resumed. Lorraine had to be standing in the exact same spot when the footage resumed, but now the director was in the frame. Lorraine quickly tricked him into stepping back to take a photo of her, and just in time he moved out of the camera's view. Then Lorraine started searching for the second key. Meanwhile, Tom had to scan the vault while disguised as a janitor. According to him, the real vault was directly below the meeting room. Tom hid under the table and started scanning with his device, but suddenly people entered the room for a meeting. Tom got stuck under the table, and then his scanning device also stopped working. After a bit of fiddling, Tom managed to get it running again and completed the scan. But just at that moment, an alarm was triggered and the security chief locked down the entire bank. Soldiers began moving toward the bank. On the other side, Lorraine had just finished making the duplicate of the second key when the bank director came to escort her. In the chaos, she forgot to return the original key. In the end, the team decided that Lorraine would give the key to Tom, and Tom would return it to the vault. Tom went to the 3rd floor with the key, placed it back, and closed the vault. Just then, he realized a guard was entering the room. Thinking quickly, Tom got himself caught on purpose and pretended he couldn't hear the security alarm because of his earphones. Hearing this, the guard let him go, and finally their mission was successful. After that, Tom reviewed the scanned data from the machine and discovered a part of the vault's map that wasn't clearly visible. Then he realized that area was filled with water. The vault was actually built on a balance scale, and as soon as it opened and the weight changed, it would automatically shut and fill with water. Now they understood that to enter the vault, they had to keep the weight balanced. Tom started working day and night to figure out a way to maintain the balance. Meanwhile, Simon and James were inspecting the ground beneath the bank and found that Tom was right. The vault was indeed built on a massive balance scale, but its weight was precisely set to 0. There was another big problem. The underground room's walls were made of titanium steel so strong that drilling through them would take 20 days. Walter's team had very little time, and it seemed impossible to steal the box and escape within that short period. Eventually, they gave up. Walter, feeling dejected, went up to the rooftop and saw a huge crowd of football fans on the streets. Then he noticed the bank's security camera and realized that during the World Cup finals, all cameras would be focused on the crowd. That's when the idea struck. He showed a demo to his team. He removed the glass cover, sprayed liquid nitrogen on the balance, and then replaced the glass. This time the weight didn't change because the balance had frozen. Tom said they could freeze the balance under the vault the same way, but it would require a lot of liquid nitrogen. Finally, they decided to execute their plan on the day of the Netherlands versus Spain football match. They had only 90 minutes to complete the mission. First, they reached the bank's roof using a zip line and entered through a glass window. Then they made their way through a 200-meter-long pipe route to reach the room outside the vault. From there, they used a ladder to move forward, and finally they were standing in front of the vault. Klaus showcased his hacking skills, and the team used the 2 duplicate keys and the fingerprint to open the vault. Meanwhile, Simon began spraying liquid nitrogen on the balance mechanism under the floor to freeze it. Soon the floor of the vault also began to freeze due to the reaction. Inside, the team started searching for the box, but on the other side, the bank's security team discovered the open window on the roof and rushed toward the vault. Just then, Lorraine found the box. But what happened next shocked everyone. James was actually an undercover agent. Greed took over him, and he decided to betray his team and take the box for himself. Lorraine had no choice, so she had to hand over the box to James. But before they could escape, the effect of the liquid nitrogen on the balance mechanism wore off, reactivating the vault's security system. Tom, Lorraine, and James were now trapped inside the vault, and water started rising rapidly. James, being a former soldier, knew how to swim and managed to escape with the box. Meanwhile, the security chief declared an emergency, and armed guards rushed toward the vault. Inside, the water had risen so much that Tom and Lorraine's lives were in danger. They could drown at any moment. They had no options left. At the last moment, Tom had a brilliant idea. He told Simon to add more weight onto the balance so the system would think the vault was already full of water. Simon quickly placed all the nitrogen tanks onto the balance, but it still wasn't enough. Finally, he even placed his radio on it. That small extra weight tipped the scale, and the system started draining the water from the vault. Meanwhile, the armed soldiers were just about to catch the thieves red-handed, but as soon as they opened the vault door, everyone was shocked because there was no one inside the vault. In reality, Tom and Lorraine had escaped through the drain pipes and made their way to the upper floors of the bank. Meanwhile, the army and guards were chasing them relentlessly. Suddenly, Lorraine remembered that the director always kept the window open in the room where she had scanned the painting. Without wasting any time, the two of them jumped out of that window where thousands of football fans had gathered. They quickly removed their jackets and disappeared into the crowd. The guards chasing them were now very close, and it looked like they were about to get caught. Finally, Tom and Lorraine were ready to surrender to the police. But just then, Spain won the match, and the entire crowd erupted in celebration. In that chaos, the soldiers lost track of them, and in the end, Tom and Lorraine managed to escape. A few days later, James handed over the stolen box to his boss. When they decoded the treasure's location, it pointed to the Eiffel Tower. That's when they realized it wasn't a real security location, and Walter's team had tricked them. In the end, it was revealed that Tom and Lorraine had swapped the real box with a fake one, and James ended up stealing the fake. Walter's team was now relaxing at a resort, and when they opened the real box, they found the actual treasure's location. It turned out to be hidden inside the Bank of England. With this new discovery, their team geared up for another exciting mission. And with that, the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more.